So I'm Angie. Jeff brought me on to work specifically to help with the training, Medicare training. So I work closely with Chanel and Michael, who is back here. I started selling Medicare back in 2014. I spent probably four or 5 years doing strictly phone sales. Back then, it was not as much of a dirty industry as it has gotten to be now. So I've heard literally thousands of stories, and I love hearing the stories. I love it when somebody says something to me and I can't figure it out because I haven't heard it yet. And I'm sure that if you guys are in the field, that you're getting stories, you're hearing scenarios, and maybe you can't figure it out, or maybe you can figure it out. So my job, hopefully, is to be able to add some insight to that so that if you guys are in situations where you're struggling to troubleshoot a particular scenario, I can help out. You guys have access to me even though I'm in San Diego, so you can call the office anytime. Michael also, he fields a lot of calls if you guys have questions. Chanel as well. I left telesales when I realized I was writing probably 450 apps in one AEP, so I was performing very well. I was a top performer in those situations. I was making a lot of money for that company, not making any money for myself really. So I decided I would transition to the field, and when I did that, I had no support from my FMO. So you guys are in an awesome situation here because you are getting hands-on support that a lot of agents are not getting across the board. My FMO didn't do anything to tell me how to even navigate the field. I had to figure that all out by myself. I didn't know how to begin prospecting. I didn't know how to, my first client was my aunt. So luckily I had a family member on Medicare. I could start that process, and I don't know how many of you have been in that situation where it's like you first grasp for the people close to you to write your first policy because you don't know what to do next. The services that Bridalwood offers in partnership with Berwick is the Medicare Center, and Bob spoke to this, and I have heard a lot of questions and concerns from agents who, obviously, this is new to you guys. You're brand new to this. You're going to be getting emails from Berwick if you haven't already. A lot of agents who are brought on, or even, let's say you're already involved with Bridalwood and Larry, and all of a sudden you want to add a carrier, you're going to get emails from Berwick. And people get confused because they think it's going to come from Bridalwood, but it's coming from Berwick. And because we partner with Berwick, you have access to all of these tools. And a lot of times you'll get a follow-up email that tells you, now you have access to the Medicare Center, but nobody really has been educated on that. So they don't know that it's a valuable tool to use. A lot of agents are just overlooking it. Likely you're not opening your carrier emails. And if you're not opening our emails, you're not opening the Berwick emails. And guys, all of this support for you is probably hosted inside of one of those emails. So open the email. I mean, part of being an agent is keeping yourself educated. You're not going to have all of the answers ever. You're always going to be learning. You should be consistently seeking out the carrier training, attending your carrier trainings. You should be getting emails from whoever your main carrier is, and you should be attending their trainings. Attend our trainings, attend Berwick trainings, because that keeps you abreast of everything that's changing and adds information early. Usually, if you're on top of it, you get, sneaks from the carriers, so you know what to do to build your business way ahead of time before AEP even comes and before the next year is on us. Have you guys all seen the weekly cash drawing that Jeff does? Yeah?
That's the one thing I do open.
That's the one thing you do open.
Absolutely.
Okay. And are you familiar with the vacation? How many of you went to Cabo? I mean, Larry went. Guys, this is something that is open to all agents based on your production, and Jeff takes care of this every week. He wants to look at your numbers and help you be successful. So get involved in this and open the emails so you can see if you won money. Like, what if you won money and you didn't know it? Or maybe you're qualifying to go on vacation and you don't know because you don't open your email. Like I said, my FMO didn't do anything to help me. We want you guys to be successful, and we want that to be the standard across the board. So the fact that Jeff even hired me to help you guys speaks highly of Bridalwood altogether. The Medicare Center, your self-study guides are right here. So if there are topics that you guys are wondering about, it's all hosted here for you to go look at and read on and educate yourselves, as you should be doing. And again, all of the tools necessary to make yourself successful in the business are being made available to you. Berwick, Bridalwood, Larry, everybody wants to help support you in this business. Jeff's big idea. Did you guys get this email? How many of you got the email? You didn't open your email. You missed out, except for Jay was involved in this one, weren't you? Yeah. So we're just putting together the Bridalwood Boot Camp. We really want it to be in-depth so that everybody gets to become familiar with Bridalwood and the Bridalwood training. I don't feel like I've had in the last 8 years any good positive experiences with any FMO. Jeff is doing something different. I feel like, Larry, you've had pretty hands-on with your team here in Iowa. Berwick offers a ton of support as well. What Jeff is doing for every Bridalwood agent, and that includes all of you guys, is direct access to me. So when you do have questions, and I'm not saying I'm an expert and I don't know it all, but I know a lot. So call me, email me, I want to help. And you have direct access to David, who is also here to help support you, with your marketing, your Google My Business or your videos, like his presentation mentioned. And then you also can be part of the Bridalwood Mail program, doing your newsletters. And in addition to newsletters, you can send out T65 mailers. You can get involved in targeting, the DSNP communities, sending out a DSNP flyer. I mean, the names are there. If you guys want to invest in your own business and put out the mail, Jeff is willing to help you do that. And the technology, again, from Berwick. There should be no excuses. You should have everything you need to build your business and do it successfully. And so navigating Medicare as a sales agent, doing some deep dive training, I understand it is as confusing as an agent as it is for the Medicare recipient. So we have to be first educated so that we can then educate the Medicare recipient. A lot of questions I get and confusion around carrier contracts, certifications. When you're brokering for multiple carriers, how do you go through each of those processes? It's daunting. If you failed it once, get help. Yeah, get help, because that's what I'm here to do. So don't wait until you've failed it 6 times and then decide you want to reach out. Well, and some people think that it's just going to keep going. Like I can keep going through the test multiple times and I'm going to figure out by getting it wrong 5 or 6 times what all the correct answers are. Don't do that. So really there are no excuses why you should be failing any of your certs or not getting your carrier contracts completed. Another thing I feel like I've gotten feedback from agents is now we're through AEP, we're through OEP, what do we do next to maintain our business during SEP timeframe? SEPs are actually awesome, guys. There's a lot of potential to sell this time of year if you understand SEPs. The problem is that people get intimidated by this, and so they kind of sort of stop selling. But honestly, you probably have as good an opportunity to sell during SEP timeframe as you do like even AEP. The business can be consistent if you understand SEPs properly. And I love SEPs because I feel like that's where I really succeeded. And also when you're in telesales, you have to be very good at SEPs because you're under, and you're shaking your head, right? Yep. You're under pressure to, it's gotten a lot worse over the last few years. It's a high pressure sales environment, yeah. So if you're not consistent throughout the year selling as you would during AEP, they kick you out. You're no longer going to be employed because you've got to keep your numbers high. So it's something that I'm familiar with and I love it because you kind of have to dig a little further, but it also makes you more familiar with your client and the people you're working with so that you're actually doing them a better service. So like Kim mentioned, there's probably 20 plus SEPs. So if you're willing to do the digging